Hello everyone and welcome to Little Mountain Ranch. My name is Chelsea. If you are new here, welcome. Today we are going to be sharing with you my most recent Costco haul. And I have to admit, I feel a little bit strange sharing my grocery shopping here on my YouTube channel. Normally what I share here is canning, preserving, gardening, cooking from scratch, all that kind of good stuff. But the reality is that shopping at Costco is actually a big part of our food systems here on our farm. And I feel like things are a little bit out of balance if I don't share this reality as well. And also it really seems that you guys enjoy these. And I understand that seeing what other people buy can give you ideas for your own grocery shopping. So I hope that you enjoy this one. It was fun to do. Dan and I were able to go by ourselves, which doesn't happen that often. And we were able to enjoy each other's company and going and doing some Costco shopping. There's a few things to just keep in mind with our Costco hauls. Number one, we're in Canada and our dollar is varying wildly right now from 68 cents to 72 cents to the American dollar. So keep that in mind when I share these prices with you. I will be sharing the prices of each item that I'm going to show you, and then I'll share the total at the end of the video. We have dairy cows here on our farm. We have chickens for meat and eggs. We also raise our own beef and our own pork and our own turkey usually. This year we're taking a little bit of a break on that outside of the beef, but for the most part we do supply our family's meat. We also have a big garden, and a lot of our vegetables throughout the summer are provided by the garden, and then root vegetables and anything that I can preserve out of the garden carries us through the winter. So we still do buy what would be an example? We buy lettuce and fruit like apples and oranges and bananas and things like that as far as produce from the grocery store, but for the most part we're providing that from our farm. So just keep that in mind when I'm sharing with you all of the things that we purchased on this particular Costco shop. And of course we have Alex over there who is trying to steal the show. My cats, and she is particularly prone to this, tend to come and get up to some kind of silliness in the background when I'm filming YouTube videos, but she's a sweetheart. Okay, so first we're going to start here at the kitchen table, and then we're going to migrate our way into the kitchen onto the counter, and I'll share all of that stuff with you too. I am a big fan of boxes of tissue. This was kind of a revelation to me. I actually never had boxes of tissue around until a couple years ago. And during cold and flu season, it is the best thing ever. So I have boxes of tissue in my living room over here, in my office, the family room, beside all the beds, in the bedrooms, all over the place. I usually buy 2 cases, but we just grabbed one this time for some reason. So this was $23 for... how many boxes is this? 12 boxes of tissue. I am really enjoying making chia seed pudding. So I use 3 tablespoons of chia seed to around a cup or so of milk, and then I add cinnamon and vanilla, and what else do I add in there? A little bit of maple syrup, and I've been having that for breakfast. It's really high in protein and delicious. If you like tapioca pudding, then you'll really like this. If you do not like tapioca, you will not like this because it has the same sort of, I don't know, gelatinous combined with little beads in it. So similar. That does not sound very appetizing, but it is very good. And then I got these hemp hearts to sprinkle on the top because I really like the hemp hearts, and like most women my age, keeping protein levels high is a really good idea for muscle building and retaining muscle and all of that. So that's what I've been having for breakfast recently. I got some razors here for the boys in the house. Does that say $65? I'm gonna have to check the receipt. That seems absolutely outrageous for a razor, or for razor blades. Is that right? Oh my gosh. We have crackers, and oh, sorry, the price for the hemp hearts was $16 and $12 for the chia seeds. We have these crackers. This is a new one to us. I haven't tried this one before, so it's a jalapeno cracker for my kids who like it spicy. And then these Mary's crackers, Dan is the only one who likes these. He actually likes snacking on these with peanut butter, believe it or not. They don't have a lot of flavor on their own, but they give you that sort of bread cracker thing. He doesn't eat a lot of wheat, so he uses these. And I think these ones were $10 for this box. And we have tomato paste. So while I do can a ton of different tomato products, I don't can tomato paste. It is just way too time consuming and takes way too many tomatoes to get a very small amount. So this organic tomato paste, we bought 4 cases of that. I've already opened this, and I'll tell you why in a sec. Were $16 each. Some chocolate chips over here, 29 bucks, which is a little bit more expensive than these were last time. For the most part, we found that the groceries were slightly less expensive than our last Costco shop, but these ones were a buck or two more expensive. And then we have some organic cane sugar. It is canning season right now. I use quite a lot of sugar during canning season, and these were $13 each, which is actually a pretty good price, and we got 4 of those. $12.50 for Earl Grey tea. I actually love the Tim Hortons brand of Earl Grey tea, but this one is a pretty decent price to just have as backup in case I run out of my favorite kind. They don't sell the kind that I buy in bulk like this, so always a couple backup boxes. $17 for some sliced mushrooms. We use these in beef stroganoff and on pizza. We have some garbage bags over here. So funny story, we actually ended up needing to buy garbage bags even though we didn't actually need any because we bought this carpet here. This carpet was $199, and as you can see, it's kind of white. But our vehicle, the canopy in the back of it wasn't long enough to accommodate this, and it was pouring rain, so we had to buy some garbage bags to wrap around it because it was sticking out the end of, or behind the back of the truck. And then we also had to buy some bungee cords to wrap around that to hold it all together so it didn't get ruined on the way home. And fortunately, it didn't get any dirt on it. Or we've actually purchased a few of these carpets for the house over the last, I don't know, year or so, and they have held up really well and are really good quality for the price. Okay, over on this side of the table, we have these. These ones are a gluten-free wrap, so these are for Dan to try. They don't look very appetizing. We both agreed to that, but it's really hard to find good tasting gluten-free tortillas, so he just wanted to give these a try. So we got 2 packages for $12 a piece. Because it is summertime, I am not doing a ton of baking right now, so we got some bread to kind of compensate for the lack of homemade baked bread. And these were $8 for 2 loaves, so $4 a loaf, which for this bread, I actually think is a pretty decent price. And then we got these naans, and I am so sad because I checked the ingredients on these naans. So where's the ingredients here? So you can see the ingredients there, and you expect to have some ingredients that aren't fantastic in store-bought bread products. But we have this app on my phone that's called the Yucca app. And these actually came in rated very low for carcinogenic ingredients. And that was so discouraging because these naans are actually really good. So needless to say, we'll be homemaking our naans in the future. But we have 2 packages of these. I bought this. We bought 2 packages of this. These were $15. So this is organic roasted seaweed. It's really delicious and my kids like it. So I think that's a pretty good price for all of these packages. And then we bought some Frank's hot sauce. So I am growing down in my high tunnel peppers to try to make an imitation Frank's hot sauce, but I'm not going to have those peppers ready for probably another 6 weeks or so. So we actually ran out of Frank's hot sauce. So we bought those, and that was $10, which considering one of these lasts us about 6 months, that is a really good price. And we got 2 of the beef better than bouillon and 2 of the chicken better than bouillon. And I just use this to, if my soups, especially if I'm using older vegetables, things out of my root cellar that don't have a ton of flavor, I might add a tablespoon of this into soup or stew or something like that just to boost the flavor a little bit. And these were, I want to say these were 10 bucks each. I don't see the price on them, so I'll have to look that up and put that on the screen for you. This was $20 for glass cleaner. Dan got those for cleaning the vehicles. And we actually, when we did our kind of pantry review to just make sure that we weren't missing anything on our list, we didn't notice, or we didn't note whether we needed peanut butter or not. So we actually bought this double thing of Adam's peanut butter at $18. And many of you suggested that I store this upside down to help the oils, because you can see the oils separate. And that actually works really well. So we got 2 of those just in case we were out. And then this creamy almond butter, this Kirkland brand, I have really been enjoying this. So we bought 2 more of those, and those were, and I don't have the price on that one either, so I'll put that one on the screen for you as well. And then we have a bunch of nuts, $21, $20, and $21, because nuts, of course, are expensive. And we use these in baking. I use them in homemade granola. I use them to top my chia pudding sometimes. So those are for that. And then we have some more crackers over here. This is hands down my very favorite brand of gluten-free crackers. These almond flour crackers are absolutely scrumptious. Love them so much, and they are $12 a box. And this is something that I bought during our last Costco haul. And I didn't actually show you these in the video. I don't remember why, but I love these dishcloths so much. We purchased the other ones about 4 months ago. They've been holding up fantastically. They're super absorbent. They wash well. I adore them. So they're $15. So I bought 2 different packages. So this is the pattern on, oh, there we go, on these ones. They're really cute too. Another box of crackers. One of my kids likes these ones. They're $13 each for the rice crackers, and they have 2 different flavors. What were these ones? Toasted sesame and artisan 4 cheese. Then we have 6 bags of tortillas here for $6.39. So we use these to make our homemade nachos, which we all love. Usually a bag and a half or so does us. So this is a couple of meals worth of tortillas here. All right, this was $26 for the double pack of this brand of olive oil in the glass jars, which I like. These are organic diced tomatoes, and normally I can all of our tomato products outside of the tomato paste, but I was out of diced tomatoes. I actually ran out for the first time of diced tomatoes this year, so I'm going to can way more, but I needed these because we are having company over for dinner, and I am making some lasagna, so I needed the diced tomatoes to make my sauce for my lasagna. I had one of these Food Saver vacuum sealers for years and years and years, and it was actually my dad's before me, and he used it for years as well. And it finally broke a couple years ago, so I bought another one, and that brand was not the Food Saver brand, and it did not last. So when I saw this one at Costco, I was very excited, and I bought it, and it has a couple of other extra features. Marinate mode, which marinates food in minutes instead of hours, and that's kind of cool. So anyway, I got this for all of the preserving that I'm going to be doing this summer. And this was $130 for this. So hopefully it's as good as the old one that I had, and it lasts me for another 30 years. And let me see what else. So we have some home and office garbage bags that were $20. And then Dan found these multi-purpose lighters, which we actually were in need of. So we bought these, and these were $17, and there's 6 in there, which is a pretty good deal. And then we actually got 2 cases of cheese. We buy our cheese by the case, $15 a piece. So it's much cheaper to buy it this way than buying it at our local grocery store. So $179 per case. I have mentioned this many times before when I've shared these videos where I show buying the amount of cheese we buy, that we do have a dairy cow, and I don't make cheese. I am just not a great cheesemaker, and I find it one of those things that it's been difficult to integrate it into my day-to-day life. So it's something that I do have ambitions of doing down the road, but we're still buying cheese at this point. This is butter. So also have a dairy cow, don't make my own butter. I know that might seem very strange because homemade butter, most people just absolutely rave about it, but I am not actually a fan of it outside of when it is first made and it's very fresh. Once it has sat for even a little while, even if I do a really good job and take all the whey out of it and I salt it and put it in the fridge, I just don't like the flavor of it after that point. So we buy butter, $5.79 per block of butter, which is a little bit cheaper than our local grocery store. We actually really like this brand of butter. So this is the natural butter. and it's really good. So we store this people always ask this, so I'll mention it, but we store this in our freezer and then just take blocks out as we need them. And then we do the same thing with our cheese. Cheddar cheese does tend to get a little bit crumbly in the freezer, so just keep that in mind. You can grate it and throw it in the freezer. It's actually cheaper to do that than buy pre-grated cheese, and it doesn't have the additives that the pre-grated cheese has to keep it from not sticking together. So that's a better way to do that. And that's sometimes what we do, but most often we'll just put the whole block in. We also have an extra fridge downstairs, and sometimes we'll cut these open because these actually aren't really airtight and the cheese will mold in there. But if I take these out and then I vacuum seal them, they tend to store in our cheese fridge for a nice long time. Okay, so these were $17 each for a case of maple syrup. We use maple syrup just to sweeten our homemade yogurt and our oatmeal and lots of our baked goods. I use it to do the chia pudding as well, to sweeten that as well. We bought our traditional case of Annie's mac and cheese. This is just a tradition, something that our kids have had since they were kids. This is all we buy, but we always buy a case. We also have some dishwasher soap here, and these were $23 a piece for this Finnish brand. I thought these looked interesting for flavor. They're hard bites, and hard bite chips are absolutely fantastic. $8.50. So these were pretty expensive for this bag. I really like the Kirkland. Actually, I like most of Kirkland brand stuff, but these Kirkland kettle chips, the crinkle cut ones, are really, really delicious. They're a really nice thick chip. And this one was $9, which for the size of bag this is, which is 907 grams, is pretty good price. And then to go with my food saver that I got, this was $40 for an assortment of food saver bags. And then of course some Ziploc bags as well for $19 for the case. These were the bungee cords that we got for holding the canopy door closed and wrapping the end of that carpet that we bought. And these were $25 for these, but you can never have too many of these on a farm. So happy to have those. Back in November and December, when I was really sick with pneumonia, I was in the hospital a couple of times, and I actually left my big water, I don't know what this would be called, a water jug at the hospital. And so I bought another one, but it was much smaller than this, and I'm constantly having to refill it. So when I saw these, I was really excited about it because this is my favorite color. Both of these colors I absolutely love, which if you've been here for a while, you probably know, because my kitchen is painted this color, my greenhouse is painted this color, and I often wear this color over here. So I was really excited to see that. And so the Dan's gonna take this one, I'm gonna take this one, and these were $60. So they were pretty pricey, but they're gonna last us forever, and they are super cute. I love the dark brown on that part of the lid there. And then we got this light here. And as you know, we've been working on kind of redoing the outside of our house. We live in a log house, and we thought this would look super cute. I'll actually open this up and take you out and show you where we're wanting to put it. But I think it's gonna look so nice. And then last up, some green, of course, dish towels that were $20 for, how many are in this pack? 8, which pretty good price. And the fact that it matches my kitchen perfectly is awesome. We don't buy pasta at Costco just because they don't sell it in large enough amounts to work for our family. So we usually buy it at our local wholesale club, which we can buy it in bulk, which is awesome. But I absolutely love homemade pasta. I wish it wasn't so time consuming to make, or I would probably do it instead of purchasing it at the store. But I am making some homemade lasagna today. And so I decided to make, this is the dough that I'm going to be making my lasagna noodles with. And I did actually, the rest, what I'm going to be making today is a tuna lasagna and then 2 regular lasagnas with some homemade French bread and some salad. And I think I'm going to do an ice cream, a homemade ice cream cake too. And I do have a video, because this is a meal that I like to make when we're going to have company, and we're going to have company later. And I do think I did this on a video back maybe last fall. So if I did, because these recipes are so delicious, and this is just such a kind of a little bit fancy of a meal to make when you have company, but relatively easy to make outside of making your own pasta noodles. But if you want to check that out, I'll link it for you so that you can go and grab those recipes. So this is what I'm going to be doing when I'm done filming here. Oh, I'm excited. It's actually really big. It looked big in the box, but it was kind of hard to tell. Humongous, which is actually what I wanted for the spot that we're going to be putting it. So isn't that cool? So pretty. And this part goes up like that, so it looks like it's hanging. Really like that. Okay, let's take this out and I'll show you where we're going to put it. This is the spot here where there's this really awesome light, really beautiful light there. And this is where we want to put this. So it would be here, except obviously against the log like that. How does it look? And this was made out of an old cupboard door, and I just thought it was so cute, and I love it here, but I am going to have to move it because this has to go here. It's wired through the log here, so this is the spot that it has to be. But let's see, I think it's going to look really nice, and I actually think the big size of it works really well in this spot. What do you guys think? Since we're here, let me show you this. This is how our flower pots are looking that we planted together. When did we do that? Gosh, probably 6 weeks ago, maybe even 8 weeks ago now. And as you can see, they're filling out beautifully. So the little vines, these are the little candy corn vines that I planted up here. They are not growing very enthusiastically, shall we say. And the reason for that is that they are a heat-loving vine, and we have had virtually no hot days, maybe 3 or 4 hot days this entire summer. So they're growing very slowly, but all of the other flowers are looking fabulous and they're spilling out and looking lovely. I had a couple of people questioning the number of plants that I was putting in each planter, but I love to densely plant my planters. The only thing that you really need to make sure that you do if you do that is that you're fertilizing your planters really well, because they need to have new food or new fuel given to them. But actually my very favorite one is this one here. I just think it looks so pretty. I love it. My green stalk planter is really starting to fill out. It needs to be moved into direct sun because it's kind of shaded right here, but I'm just waiting for our deck to be finished, and that's going to be its permanent location is there. But it still looks really pretty here anyway, even if looking a little bit yellow, needs a little bit more sun. Look at that, it even came with a light bulb. It's a little bit mushed. Hopefully it's not broken. That's cool. I really like these light bulbs, these like antique style light bulbs. They're so pretty. So that's great. You know what I just realized is that I forgot to show you all the frozen stuff that we bought. So I'm just gonna run down to the freezer and grab that and then show that to you and then show you the final price. Because if I shared the final price with you without showing that, you would be confused because we bought quite a few things for the freezer. So just one sec. Okay, so price-wise, these were $20. So we got 2 boxes of pierogies. We love homemade pierogies, but in the summer, I don't have time to make homemade pierogies. So we bought 2 boxes of these. This brand is excellent. And then a whole bunch of different bags of, we have frozen strawberries here, frozen blueberries, mixed frozen, and these are all between $12 and $18 or so a bag. Frozen peas and frozen corn, some more blueberries over here, and I got 2 bags of these, and that was actually out of habit because I tend to buy these in the winter time for quick stir fries, but most of these veggies I have in my garden right now outside of the mushrooms. So that'll probably just stay in until winter time and we'll use those then, but they make really good stir fries. It is the Kirkland brand, again, stir fry special blend. And then Dan got these breakfast sausages because we don't actually have a lot of ground pork in the freezer right now, and he loves breakfast sausages. So he got this box, and these were $22, I want to say, but they're pretty good. So that frozen stuff is actually a really good example of some of the things that I buy frozen at Costco rather than grow myself. So peas would be one. I find growing peas to the amount of peas that we make or that we use throughout the winter time really, really labor intensive, and it takes up a ton of space in my garden. And the organic peas and corn also, same with corn, that I buy at Costco is picked at peak freshness and flash frozen. So the quality of the product itself is actually really high and probably comparable to what I would do here on my own farm. So that's what I choose to do with that rather than rather than grow them. So the blueberries and the strawberries, I actually have to buy from a farm about 3 hours from here anyway. So even though I do buy quite a lot of them, those I end up preserving usually into jams or pie fillings or things like that. I don't usually buy enough to freeze. And again, back to the whole quality of the way that they pick them at peak freshness, freeze them the way they do and everything, the quality of them is really high. And because I'm buying the organic ones, I know they don't have all the sprays and everything on them anyway, which actually the ones that I bought at the farm this year, 3 hours from here, Desert Hills, which is where we buy some of them, were not actually organic. So overall, these ones are probably better in the long run. So I choose to buy those. And then the mixed berries, I love those on my chia pudding. I've mentioned my chia pudding a lot in this video, and that's because I really enjoy it. I've only started doing it over the last couple of weeks, and it's delicious, and it's such a filling breakfast to have. So that's what I got those for, is for a topping for the chia pudding. Oh, there's two other things actually that we did buy there, and that was some yogurt. And the reason for that is because we actually make our own yogurt, but I use store-bought yogurt to start my yogurt. And I find that I usually can start a yogurt with a store-bought one and then use my own yogurt to start my batches for about 6 to 8 weeks or so. And then they start to become less thick and less flavorful. I guess just the bacteria gets diluted or dies off or whatever happens there. So I usually will buy some yogurt every couple of months and then start fresh batches with that again, kind of re-get all that bacteria going and then keep going again for another 6 weeks or 8 weeks and so on. I almost always buy clothes at Costco, but outside of some socks and underwear, which I did get, I just didn't show those. Today I did not buy any other clothes there, which is super unusual because I almost always do. The quality of the clothing that I get at Costco, especially kids' clothes, is really good and usually for a really good price, but there wasn't anything there today, which I think that might be the first time that's ever happened. Or not today, yesterday. We actually went to Costco yesterday. So the total for all this stuff, including the carpet, the light, the water bottles, all of the extra things that we bought outside of food, was $2,894.39. And again, that's in Canadian dollars. So if you're in the States, you'll have to do the conversion there. It's a lot less expensive dollar-wise to buy food in the United States. But I'm pretty happy with all of that. And overall, I think that that's pretty reasonable considering the amount that we got here, and we won't need to go again to Costco for at least 3 more months. So the majority of our grocery shopping is done at Costco and in our own garden and on our own farm, and then we supplement every week or two with a few odds and ends from our local grocery store. I hope that you enjoyed hanging out with me today. I hope that you enjoyed seeing everything that we bought at Costco. And I wanted to remind you, I am doing a giveaway right now for 3 beginner canning kits. And all you have to do to sign up for that giveaway is to click the link below, sign up for my newsletter. If you're already on my newsletter list, you're automatically entered into this draw. So you don't have to re-enter or anything like that. And I'll let you guys know as soon as I've picked a winner, which will probably be in about 4 or 5 days. I hope that you have an absolutely fabulous day, and I'll see you again next time. I'm gonna go make some food now. Bye guys.